300 deaths per 100,000. King crab fishing once claimed lives at a rate nearly 100 times greater than any other American job. Out here, one wrong step on an icy deck in waves taller than a house could end everything. Yet, every autumn, crews return to the edge of the Bering Sea, chasing fortunes and risking all. What forces drive people into the world's deadliest workplace? And how close does each haul bring them to the breaking point? The Bering Sea draws a hard line between survival and disaster. Its waters, wedged between Alaska and Russia, are a gauntlet of natural hazards unique in American industry. During the so-called derby days of king crab fishing, the odds of not coming home were staggering. Over 300 deaths per 100,000 workers each year. For most jobs in the United States, the fatality rate sits below 4 per 100,000. Here, the numbers are not abstract. They play out on a map of cold, remote ocean, where winter temperatures routinely plunge below -10 degrees Celsius, and the wind cuts through every layer of clothing. Storms can whip up waves that reach 40 feet, rolling over the horizon like moving walls. In minutes, sea spray freezes on every exposed surface. Ice piles onto decks, rails, and stacked crab pots, adding thousands of pounds in dead weight. This ice does not just slow a crew, it threatens to capsize even the largest vessels. The process is relentless. Spray hits steel, freezes instantly, and the cycle repeats. Crews chip at the buildup with mallets and crowbars while the boat lurches beneath them. The Bering Sea does not negotiate, it never waits. The risk is not just theoretical, not just numbers on a chart. Every moment on these waters is a contest with physics, cold, and time. Before a single pot is hauled, before a dollar is made, the environment itself demands a price. The next threat comes not from the sea, but from the machines that make this work possible. A steel crab pot hangs from the hydraulic winch, swaying above the slick deck. It weighs nearly 800 pounds, more than a grand piano, and any misstep could turn it from tool to weapon. Crew members move with practiced urgency, boots sliding on ice as they guide the pot into place. The winch whines, the cable tightens, and for a moment, all eyes are locked on the swinging mass. One deckhand, running on less than 4 hours of sleep, loses his footing. His boots skid out from under him. In the space of a heartbeat, he is inches from the crush zone, the pot's shadow blotting out the deck lights. A shout from the deck boss snaps the crew into motion. The winch halts, lines are steadied, and the deckhand scrambles clear, breathless but unhurt. There is no time for relief. Another pot waits, another chance for a mistake. This is the rhythm of the Bering Sea crab season. Shifts stretch to 20 hours, broken only by short bursts of sleep in cramped bunks. The cold seeps into bones, slowing reaction time and clouding judgment. Every movement is a calculation. How to haul, bait, and stack hundreds of these steel cages without letting exhaustion win. The deck is a maze of hazards, coiled lines, swinging hooks, and the constant threat of machinery under strain. Even the most experienced crews are not immune. Fatigue is the silent adversary, waiting for a lapse in focus. Why do they keep coming back? The answer sits in the numbers. Each pot, once hauled and sorted, can be worth several $1,000s. A productive string of pots means a payday that rivals a year's salary on land. Deckhands are paid by the catch, not by the hour. In a good season, a single crew member can earn between $50,000 and $100,000 in just a few months. The pressure to keep the gear moving is relentless. Every lost minute is money left in the sea. The risk is real, but so is the reward. For many, the promise of a life-changing haul is enough to face another day on the edge, with the winch humming and the cold biting through every layer. Aboard a crab boat, survival depends on more than grit and muscle. Every crew member is issued a full-body survival suit known as a Gumby suit. The suit's thick neoprene traps body heat, buying precious minutes in water that hovers just above freezing. Without it, hypothermia can set in within 5 to 10 minutes, often faster than rescue can arrive. Coast Guard regulations require not just the suits, but also life rafts packed with rations, flares, and emergency radios. Before each season, crews undergo mandatory safety drills, man-overboard recovery, fire response, and cold water survival, all practiced until the steps become muscle memory. A Coast Guard trainer drills it in. Minutes mean survival. Even the best prepared can be overwhelmed. But gear alone is not enough. On deck, every move is governed by a strict chain of command. The captain holds absolute authority, making real-time decisions that can mean the difference between a safe haul and disaster. The deck boss acts as the captain's right hand, shouting orders and keeping the crew in sync as heavy gear swings overhead. In the chaos, hesitation can be fatal. Discipline and trust in the hierarchy are non-negotiable. The story of the Scandi Rose brings these realities into sharp focus. On New Year's Eve 2020, the vessel capsized after ice built up faster than the crew could clear it. Of the 7 men aboard, only 2 survived. Both managed to get into their survival suits and launch a life raft as the boat went down. Hours later, they were pulled from the Bering Sea, alive but suffering from severe hypothermia. Their training and equipment bought them time, but luck and quick judgment made the difference. For the rest, the defenses in place weren't enough. Even with every precaution, there are moments when the sea decides the outcome. In 2005, the race for king crab was officially over. Federal regulators replaced the chaotic derby system with individual vessel quotas, called IVQs, dividing the catch among boats before the season began. The change brought a sharp drop in deaths. Fatality rates were cut nearly in half overnight. But the new system also concentrated power. Small boat owners, once able to gamble for a big haul, found themselves edged out by larger companies holding bigger quotas. Lawsuits and protests broke out in Dutch Harbor as families watched generations of work slip away. Some boats were forced to sell, unable to survive on slivers of the quota. Others were tied up for good, their gear left to rust on the docks. Just as the industry adjusted to new rules, nature delivered a blow no policy could soften. Between 2021 and 2023, the Alaska Department of Fish and Game closed entire king crab seasons after surveys revealed the population had crashed to historic lows. Scientists pointed to warming waters and shifting currents, forces beyond any fisherman's control. For the first time in decades, harbors sat silent through the fall. Crews scattered for other work or waited, hoping the sea would recover. Bankruptcies followed. Even the most seasoned captains said they had never seen anything like it. In Dutch Harbor, the Unalaska Fisherman's Memorial stands watch over the water. More than 120 names are etched in stone. Deckhands, captains, fathers, sons. Each spring, the community gathers to read them aloud, tossing flowers into the harbor. The ceremony is both a warning and a promise. The sea gives, but it also takes. For those left behind, memory is a kind of anchor, holding fast against a tide of uncertainty that no amount of skill or sacrifice can fully control. Today, with king crab populations crashing and seasons canceled, survival means more than weathering storms. It means facing an uncertain future. Generations gamble everything for a catch that grows less certain each year. The real risk now isn't on the deck. It's whether the sea will give anything back at all.